Hello to our First Baptist Church family. This is the teaching series extra for Sunday morning, January 21st, 2018. And we're in our teaching series on self-control. Let me give you just a glimpse of where we're going in 2018. We're spending January and February talking about self-control. Then as a short lead up to Easter, we're going to look at the events before Easter and Easter itself through the eyes of Peter. And that's very purposeful because after Easter, this is probably the largest teaching series I have done in my entire ministry career. After Easter, we're going to spend 17 weeks in the book of 1 Peter under the theme of strange days. We live in strange days where Christianity is coming into conflict with culture, and even Christians are in conflict with one another. How do we live faithfully to Christ in these strange days? And I would say in your community group, if you're not using the pastor's cut material for your teaching time, it might be a good time to step into that because we've got some fantastic writers on our staff with Chris Matthews and Marissa Carter, and we'll be studying 1 Peter together again for 17 weeks after Easter. So for now, we're in the self-control series, and here's the two great revelations about self-control that I really want to drive deep into our minds. First is this, that self-control is not a matter of will, it's about the transforming power of love. We have these destructive desires and we say, I'm going to hang on, I'm not going to let these destructive desires make my decision for me. And we can hang on for a little bit, but then our will, like our physical grip, our will fatigue. What we need is something greater than our willpower. We need the transforming power of love. That as I fall in love with God, He gives me new desires, and those new desires create new decisions. Also is the transforming power of habit. And I gave a quote last Sunday that said about 95% of what we do every day is just a matter of habit. And so if you have the ability to create some bad habits, you also have the ability to create some good habits. And so to use your willpower not in making decisions, but to use your self-control and your will to create new habits that after a while you just won't even think about them anymore. It'll just be good habits that will be ingrained. So this Sunday we're going to begin to apply that theological framework, that philosophical framework, to one very practical area of self-control. And this is the one that people say, oh, if I lack self-control in any area, this is it. It's with our words. And we're going to look at James chapter 3. So let me give you the bad news and let me give you the good news. You cannot control your tongue. James comes right out and says, all kinds of animals have been tamed and will be tamed, but no one has ever been able to control and to tame the tongue. So do we just give up hope? Do we say, well, we can't tame the tongue, we'll just live however we want to? Absolutely not. Here's the good news. We may not be able to tame the tongue, but God can transform our hearts. Remember what Jesus said in Matthew 12:34. In fact, that's an easy reference to remember. It's Matthew, first book in the New Testament, 1, 2, 3, 4, Matthew 12:34. That out of the heart's overflow, the mouth speaks. So if you're trying to tame your tongue, you're too late. All right, we need to back it up a couple of steps and look at what is in our heart. So when I misspeak, and I've spent some time thinking about this, when I misspeak, I'm usually going to one of two extremes. One is I think I'm God. I think I've got all the right answers. If everyone would just listen to me, the world would be a better place. All right, that's called pride. Okay, but when when I don't think I'm God, I'm often thinking like the devil. That I've got some dark places in my heart, and it's from those dark places that I sometimes actively speak some very hurtful and harmful words. And so we shouldn't think that we're God. We shouldn't think like the devil. What we need to do is to remember that I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. And as His follower, every day, I need to surrender my heart to the control and the transforming power of God. It's not about taming the tongue. It's about allowing God to transform my heart. And out of that overflow of being a follower of Jesus, surrendering my heart to God, that my words will begin to transform over time. May God bless you this week. I'm so proud to be your pastor. I'm proud to serve alongside of you. And again, self-control is something that God desires for us. We just have to decide with Him and discipline ourselves in these areas. May the Lord bless you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.